Hi, hello. Can you hear me? Yes, can you see me? Hi, can you see me? Oh, hello, hi. Can you Oh, no? Hi. I have a question for you. If you don't wear your pajamas in the office, why wearing it at home when you are working remotely? Hello, my name is Nuno, I'm 38 years old and I'm the lead expert of learning and development in Axians Consulting in Portugal. Well, in the last 5 years I've been working with communication, I've been helping people to be better communicators, to be better leaders. I've talked to large crowds and I've also helped more than 200 colleagues improve their public speaking and losing their stage fright. So for me, I understand that communication is really important when you're dealing with other people. Well, we are now facing unprecedented times. COVID has changed the world, has changed the way we work. And technology has helped us a lot, but I don't know if we are using technology the way we should. Did you notice in the last months, the meetings that you have, the sessions that you held, were always everyone talking to a camera in a properly and in a good manner? Well, I've been noticing and there are a couple of improvement points. So I'm here to give you 3 tips. 3 simple tips that you can use to improve your communication when doing remote calls. Well, so the first tip I would like to leave you is how to use your body. Well, as you noticed in the beginning of the speech, I was not wearing a shirt. I was wearing something that I usually wear when I go to bed. So even if you're not turning on your camera, it's really important to dress as if you are going to the office. Because when you're wearing a pajamas, you're telling to your brain that you are going to sleep, that you are going to bed, when actually what you want is to work. So always dress as if you were to the office, even if you're doing a remote call without your camera on. It's really important for you. Well, and when you have your camera on, and this is really important because when you are physically with each other, we don't have the ability to turn off the other people's the way other people are viewing us. So it's really important to have your camera on and to use your body to enhance your message. When you're talking, when you're communicating, it's not only the words that counts, it's also your gestures, the way you move your hands, your facial expressions, okay? And also the way you stand or the way you sit. When you're doing a presentation in the same physical space as the other people, as the audience, usually you're standing up. So also, when doing a presentation, please stand up because it's important. It's important to convey your message. It's important to influence your audience. But the main thing, the most important thing regarding this tip is to look straight at your camera. Look straight to this tiny hole that you have here, because when you're doing it, you're talking directly to the other people's eyes. Because eye contact, it's really important in communication. It creates an emotional connection between you and your audience. Have you ever been in a call where people are talking to you but they are looking at their own screen? Or even worse, they have a second screen and they are looking and talking to you. Hey John, yeah, I received your PowerPoint. Yeah, those numbers are great. Okay, It's actually quite different when you look straight at your camera, because you're looking, actually, the other person is feeling that you're looking directly into their eyes. So this is the first tip. Use your body to communicate when you are doing a remote call, because not only words count but also your gestures. And when you have your camera on, dress up. dress accordingly to the occasion, and most importantly, talk and talk directly to the camera. So this was the first tip. Second tip: use techniques to call the attention of your audience. Did you notice how I started this speech? I started with several questions, and questions are a powerful way to get the attention of your audience, because when people receive a question, they tend to give an answer. Even if it's a rhetorical question, people start to think about it, and that calls their attention. Also, it's important to convey your message, to convey a structured message, to have a clear purpose of the thing that you want to talk about in your meeting, in the session that you're holding, or just in a conversation that you're doing using a remote platform. But it's really important to structure your message. And here I usually use the rule of 3. So divide your speech, divide your answer, even if it's just a sentence, divide it in 3 parts. Because when you divide it in 3, it's more easy for the person who's listening to you to follow up and to structure the way that they receive the message. It's more easier when you're doing in 3 parts. Okay? This is really important because when you're talking to an audience, and it's important when you are in the same physical room, but it's even more important when you're doing a remote call. And one more time, because you don't have that connection. You cannot get closer to people, you cannot touch people. So it's really important to use these techniques, and it's really important not to push the information down on people's throats. And the simplest way to do this, to convey your message and to call the attention of your audience, is to use stories. So let me tell you one. I have a dog. His name is Rocky. Well, actually it's not my dog, it's my kid's dog, but we love him very, very much. And a couple of years ago he got sick. We went to the vet, and the vet told us that he was suffering from food poisoning. So he gave us a medicine for the dog to take, and he should take that medicine for about a whole week. That seems easy, right? To give a medicine to a dog for 7 consecutive days, right? But it's not. So as I tried to push the medicine down, the dog wouldn't swallow it. We tried to give him to it, he didn't want to eat. We tried to push it down the throat, he didn't want it. So we were getting desperate because the dog was getting sick. Every day the dog was getting sick. Even more sick than in the day before, and we were desperate. So I decided to call to a friend who had a dog as well, and I asked him for advice. So, hi John, how are you? Well, I have a situation here, you know, my dog Rocky is really sick and he has to take this medicine, but he doesn't want to swallow it. So, what should I do? And my friend, he asked me, hey Nuno, do you have peanut butter? Oh man, come on, I'm asking help for my dog and you're asking for peanut butter. Nuno, do you have peanut butter? Yes, I have peanut butter. So Nuno, take a large spoon of peanut butter, put the pillow inside it, and give it straight to your dog. Okay. So I went to the basement, down the stairs to take the peanut butter. Hello, Rocky. Look what I have here. It's peanut butter. And I gave it to my dog. And you know what? He ate the peanut butter, he ate the pillow, he almost ate the spoon. So my point here is, When you're trying to convey a message, when you're trying to give someone something so they can learn, so they can take home, don't try to push the information down their throat. Instead, wrap it up in peanut butter using a story, and it's more easy to convey your message. So this was tip number 2. Call your audience attention even when you're doing a remote call, and the best way to do this is to structure your speech and to use stories. Tip number 3. Rule of 3. 2000 years ago, there was this guy, you should know him, Aristotle. He is known as the father of the rhetoric. And Aristotle left us with this knowledge where he says that when you want to influence something, you should use three things that should be in a speech that will help you persuade your audience. And once again, this is even more important when you are working remotely, because you don't have the same connection that you have when you are in the same physical space as your audience. So the 3 things that you should use in your presentations, the 3 things you should use when you're just simply trying to influence someone in a meeting are ethos, pathos, logos. Well, this is Greek, but actually it means ethos, the speaker's credibility, pathos, the emotion, and logos, the logical part of the speech. Let's start with ethos, the credibility. I don't know if you noticed, but in the beginning of this presentation, I talked a little bit of myself and I told you why you should listen to this talk. I talked about my credibility as a speaker, but so it's really important to talk about your credibility, but you should just talk a little bit about this. Experts say that mostly 10 to 15% of your speech should be your ethos. So you should talk about your credibility, but you should not spend half of your speech, half of your presentation, half of your intervention talking about yourself. But it's really important to say why people should listen to you. Second, the logos, the logical part of the speech. Well, as mainly a company of engineers, usually we are really good at this, talking about numbers, talking about charts, but you know, this is not the biggest part of speech when you want to influence something. Experts say that it should be between 25 to 40% of your speech. The biggest part of your speech should be the pathos, the emotion of your speech. And how do you convey emotion in a speech when you're talking about numbers, when you're talking about company business? The best way, and once again, is by telling stories. Because when you tell a story, actually your brain is connecting to the brain that the person or the people that are listening to you. So never forget, if you want to influence someone, talk a little bit about your credibility. Why should I listen to you in this subject? Talk about the logic of the speech, of course, but don't make it the largest part of your speech. But use the pathos. Make a connection to your audience. People are talking to you behind the screen. They want to hear stories. They want to hear stories. We all want, since we are children. So once again, 3 tips when you are doing a remote call. First one, use your body. Look at the camera. Use your whole body, your expression, your hands, your facial expression. People should recognize this in you, even behind the camera. Second, call your audience attention. Use a quote, use a question to start your intervention. Tell stories. And once again, if you want to influence others, talk about your credibility, build your credibility, talk about the logical part of the speech, but once again, do not forget to tell a story. At least one story when you are doing a presentation. Well, guys, I hope this has been helpful to you. I will host a workshop tomorrow morning. I want to see you there. So if you want to know and train a little bit more about communication, how to make a presentation, how to speak in public, how to do videos, how to talk in a remote call, doing remote meetings, please show up tomorrow. And I would like to leave a final message. We are in November, which is also the Movember month. So please support this cause. It's a cause to support men that are suffering from illness, mainly from cancer. So support this cause for November and for all the men. So thank you so much, and I'll see you around.